encounter something that violates a rule you've learned, one of the possibilities is that you've encountered a dimension that you didn't know existed. You see? And so it's that kind of insight that caused Dr. Albert Einstein, as he was grappling with the nature of space, to realize that space is not limited to 3 dimensions. And he developed his theory of relativity by recognizing that it really consists of 4, at least. The special relativity was 1905, which was length, mass, velocity, and time are relative to velocity observers. The general relativity in 1915 was that there was no distinction between time and space. We won't get into the math here, but the point is a physicist will speak of space-time. You can't speak of space and time separately. Time is a dimension of our space. You and I live not in 3 dimensions, in 4 dimensions. 3 spatial dimensions and time. And that's no longer just a conjecture. This 4-dimensional continuum that we now know we live in has been confirmed 14 different ways to over 19 decimals. And it happens to include an insight that gets around many of the problems we encounter. So we want to talk a little bit about this peculiar dimension that you and I are in called time, the nature of time. Time, it turns out, let's talk about this first of all. There are atomic clocks located at the National Institute of Standards and Technology in Boulder, Colorado, and also an identical clock at the Royal Observatory in Greenwich, England. These are atomic clocks. They're accurate. Both of these are accurate to better than 1 second per million years. So they're as accurate as we know how to make clocks. They're based on the natural resonance of cesium. I won't get into all that. That's not important. They're very, very accurate clocks. But here's the dilemma. The one at Boulder ticks 5 microseconds a year faster than the identical clock at Greenwich. Every year they have to make an adjustment. Why? Which one's correct? Greenwich or Boulder? The Brits or our federal government? I didn't mean anything by that. That's all right. Well, the answer is they both are correct. You see, both are. The Boulder, Colorado is at 5,400 feet altitude, and Greenwich, England is at 80 feet of altitude. And the gravity is different at both places, which means the time, it's not the clock problem, the time itself is different at each place. The atomic clocks, if I had an atomic clock here on the platform, and I raised it 1 meter, it would speed up by 1 part in 10 to the 16th. Not a big deal, but it's measurable, predictable, and confirmable. In fact,